tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Popping can is swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Popping can is swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Popping can is swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream.
All right, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your daily vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so with that all being said, let's get ready to get into it. Hello, Anita Harrell, Claudette, Bronze Flat Power God, Juju. Okay, We the People, Leon, Million X. All right, Nepenthe for Life. I hope I said that right. Pookie is here. All right, Buckhorse DC. All right, Deronda. Let's get into it. Desmond. Anita Harrell. All right, shout out to all of my loyal Rose. I see you, Quiet Storm, 57 Beige Fox. Okay, shout out to all of my loyal Rose and everyone tuned into the Queen. I see you, Danny Joe. Okay, so let's get this party started. Before we do, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes. Here we go.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes Hair Oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com. Now, with that all being said, don't forget that she sells beard oil as well. Okay, so with that all being said, let's get ready to get into it. Hey, Danielle. All right. Hey, Trisha. Okay, so with that all being said, before we get started, well, not before we get started, before we get into the Jaxson Dart debacle, which is really, he's getting a lot of backlash from the sounds of it. And now Boomer Esiason has entered the chat to try and drag Abdul Carter. So we're going to talk about that, and also Cheyenne Bryant. Okay, someone who actually went to school with her, who is now a doctor and gladly showed their degree. They came out and spoke. So she did go to school. The question is, did she graduate? We're going to get into it. But first, let's talk about Floyd Mayweather and this $175 million fraud that he's accusing someone of. So Floyd Mayweather sues notorious New York City money manager in alleged $175 million fraud scheme over jewels and jet. He says the gloves are off. Okay, so the superstar claims that in a new Manhattan a new Manhattan Supreme Court lawsuit that Jonah Recknitz, an ex-mayoral donor who once tried to bribe NYPD cops with hookers, orchestrated a multi-year fraudulent scheme involving real estate, jewelry, and his believed Gulfstream jet famously emblazoned with Mayweather on the fuselage. Now, as they say, the gloves are off. Mayweather's attorney, Leo Jacobs, gave this information to the Post. He says this case is about restoring to our client what is rightfully his. So they say this guy, Recknitz, had spent years cultivating a relationship with Mayweather, who has earned a reported $1 billion during his career, but whose high-flying lifestyle has left him cash-strapped at times. Now, you need to be asking yourselves, how do you have $1 billion and then all of a sudden you're strapped for cash? Bad investments? Squandering your money on BS? Who knows? Those are rich people's problems. But in 2024, Recknitz became the de facto manager of the boxer's investment, banking, and real estate assets before betraying the champ's trust by diverting his fortune to himself and a broker pal. This is all according to the legal documents, mind you. It says Recknitz previously pleaded guilty in 2016 for his role in the infamous prostitute-packed NYPD corruption scandal that also involved private jets. He had been a top donor to de Blasio, who called him a brother in emails. Now, Mayweather says in his suit that Recknitz hid his criminal past from him, which has included a separate $17.7 million judgment against the former power broker and his pal A.L. Frist, who also is being sued by Mayweather. The boxer's lawsuit demands that Recknitz pay back the claimed $175 million in losses, detailing exactly how the alleged jaw-dropping clandestine fraud went down. So it says that in July of 2024, Recknitz took it upon himself to wire $7.5 million from one of Mayweather's companies to a Florida LLC owned by his pal Frist, stating it was for an imaginary 12-month investment that never materialized, according to the lawsuit. A year later, Recknitz schemed to bring roughly $100 million of Mayweather's jewelry to a pair of Miami dealers, using it as collateral for a $13 million loan from them. And this is according to the court documents. So in the text thread, with Recknitz and Mayweather, one of the dealers writes that he will start to liquidate the merchandise if he doesn't receive payment soon. So Recknitz responded instantly and said, "Agreed, thanks." Now Mayweather later lamented the predicament in a text, writing that, "I fought from a kid to get everything I own, and it's sad that someone would even put me in this situation." In November of 2025, Recknitz urged Mayweather to execute a bill of sale for the jet, but the buyer's name was left blank. Now, Mayweather has no idea who ultimately bought it and hasn't seen a dime from the sale. First of all, this all sounds crazy to me. Now, it seems like Mayweather was just trusting this man, blindly trusting him, and wasn't even fact checking. Now, I'm sorry, but this man had a whole criminal background where he was supposedly involved in some prostitution, whatever, with the police and tried to bribe them allegedly. If you're going to be entrusting someone with millions of dollars, and in his case, he had $1 billion, they say. So if you're going to be entrusting someone with your money, specifically those large amounts, I think you should get a criminal background check on them. There's a lot of fraudulent people in the world, specifically when it comes to these entertainers or athletes, people with all of this money, when they're looking for financial advisors and accountants and all of that. But let's continue. So anyway, goes on to say that it was left blank and he never even knew who bought it and never received a dime from the sale. Now, but he claims that the proceeds were applied to a Bugatti related obligation with no portion paid to Mr. Mayweather. It's all crazy. Now, other shocking allegations of Recknitz include him ordering a lawyer to transfer a $15 million real estate settlement to his friend's Florida shell company, that he siphoned half of an allegedly illicit $16 million loan to himself. Now, a January email from Recknitz allegedly shows that his nefarious scheme was ready to continue with 20% of nearly $4 million in distributions from Mayweather's Manhattan real estate portfolio going to him directly. Recknitz's attorney, Morris Mystery, called the suit utterly baseless. Now, Mayweather's gambling issues, prolific spending habits, monies owed to third-party creditors, and IRS tax liens and levies, as well as other unseemly behavior, will be exposed, Mystery said. And we believe that Mr. Mayweather will be the one paying significant damages to our clients. Honey, this all sounds real messy. Okay, this all sounds real messy. What do y'all think? I'm going to show you all some of these pictures. It just looks to me like he wasn't doing his own due diligence with checking to see. Let me tell you something. I would not be just having somebody handling that type of money of mine and I'm not right over their shoulder seeing what's going on. And if you're selling anything of mine, I want to be right there when the transaction is made. I want to see who's buying it, how much I'm being paid. Am I getting what I asked for? And I want to see the documents and all of that. Like, that's crazy to me. You know, some of these people just be trusting anybody. Okay, let's go to the, I want you to see all these watches and jewelry and then a whole jets and you don't even know who bought it. Make that make sense. So this is a guy right here with the glasses on sitting next to Mayweather. There he is again. That's him aboard the jet that was sold. Look at all this jewelry. Mayweather claims the fraud involved at least $100 million of his personal jewelry. Okay. Now there's the guy, it looks like, with the watches on. There's the jet that he sold with Mayweather's name on it. That's all crazy to me, honey. Okay. And then this happened, according to the documents, it happened more than once. I don't know. Some people just really just are lax, okay, in doing their due diligence, especially when it comes to cash, honey. All right. You just can't pay me to do certain things. But anyway, enough of that. So we're done with Mayweather. Let's talk about Cheyenne Bryant because I find it all interesting. Now, mind you, someone who claims to have gone to school with her has come out and they have spoken and they say that she did go to school. They said she absolutely did. Okay, so let's get into it. But she's still out here lying, though. That's the sad fact of the matter. Let's get into it. Like, up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Hold on, let me get, here it is right here. Now, listen to what this young lady has to say. I'm going to share my screen.
Yeah, my name is Shalonda. Last name Kanyeve, but most people call me Dr. K. And I went to school with Cheyenne Bryant, the very same school she got her degree from. Hold on. See that? Argosy University. See that? Argosy University. Same year. Right there. Yeah. We went to school. She was already calling herself doctor. We got into an argument about it one time because the dialogue we were having in class was, do we call ourselves doctor even though we weren't completed with school? And she said she paid so that she could be a doctor. And I said, being called doctor isn't that damn important because it's no difference than anything else. What's important is the work we do. But we got into a very heated argument about it. And our instructor said, you cannot say that you're a doctor if you haven't completed your dissertation and done with school. Period. But me and Cheyenne used to get in a lot of arguments about shit. And one of the things that she said she wanted to do was she wanted to be the next Ayan Van Zant. So she went to a lot of her courses, studied up under her. Now, I don't know if she graduated or not, but I do know, as I just showed you, that I have my diploma. Now, what I can say is she is correct. We cannot get a psychology license with our degree because the school lost its accreditation. And that's really fucked up. It's really fucked up. So we paid a lot of money for that shit. But what I'll tell you is this. I still can, but we'd have to go back to school and do a program. And that's how we would get our degree.
Now, let me stop right there for a second because if you remember when Cheyenne was on the Breakfast Club, she said that the school was accredited. She said that the school was accredited. Okay. So let's continue.
Can you still get your credits? Hell yeah. I had to get a job for the government, goddamn. I also am in private practice, goddamn. You can still get all the class, all your credits, your transcripts. You get access to that. You cannot get that. What the fuck is that? That's not true. So yes, she still can get it. She just lied. Now, what I can say again is she did go to school because I went with her. We were in a couple of classes together. But what I don't know is if she graduated or not. Because if she did, she'd have been able to do this. Pause. Funny because when I first saw her, I'm like, I know her. Did I go to school with her? I don't know, maybe. But when she said she went to Argosy, that's when I was like, God damn, we actually did fucking go to school together, god damn it. When I tell you, goddamn, she was heavily in her shit. But we argued about a lot of shit that didn't make sense to me. But one thing I can say is this. What really pissed me off was the Cam Newton thing. Because instead of her saying something as simple as a father's presence or lack thereof in a child's life is very impactful. And if you're not in the house with your child, it's going to impact your child. Your presence in the home is important. Every other weekend is not enough. You need to physically be present in the home. Why? because the image of you is so important. If you have daughters, then you know what's going to happen? They're going to pick the wrong man because you weren't there. You weren't there to tuck them in at night. You weren't there, period. So I'm not saying that picking your child up on the weekends is negative. What I'm saying is your full presence in the home is important. Your full presence. Picking them up on the weekend is not enough time. They need your full presence. So if you're going to do it, then you need to do it every other weekend split or some shit. Because you don't know who's putting and pouring into your kids if you physically not there every goddamn day. That's what she should have said. But she didn't say that. She came at the man fucked up like. But I'm just saying. Deuces. My other issues is how she treat black men. And it's just horrible to me. And I don't think that given the space that they're in, right, where they are in society, the black woman as a therapist, our job is to build, not to tear down, not to publicly humiliate, because all we'll be doing is the exact same thing they deal with on a daily basis. One of the things I teach the couples I work with.
Now she's trying to tell us what she teaches. Okay, ma'am, thank you. Now, some of you all don't know if she's telling the truth or not. Well, here's the thing. I don't know if she is either. She could be clout chasing and riding the wave, because what I find interesting is the fact that she said she went to school with Cheyenne, said that they were in 2 classes together, and that they used to argue all the time. But yet, when she's seeing all of this stuff going on the internet, you're just now coming out saying something, and she acted as though she had to realize that was her. She's like, oh, wait a minute, she looks familiar. I think Cheyenne Bryant has a very recognizable face. Now, people that I went to college with, I'm pretty sure if it was specifically someone who was in class with me and I had conversations with them, on a regular, I think I would remember them right away, especially if they're all over the internet. So I don't know. She could be telling the truth, maybe not. But the bottom line is she still didn't really verify anything, because she didn't tell us if she graduated. She said she doesn't know. Now, here's the thing. How would you not know? If you went to school with her and you graduated, she should have graduated with you. Okay? Maybe she graduated at a different time, or maybe that's what she's thinking. I don't know. But anyway, all I know is Cheyenne Bryant studied on her haters. Okay, is what she calls us, the ones that are calling her out. She calls us haters. So I guess she studied on us, honey. I'm going to go to the video in just a second. Sweet D says, so you're unlicensed and unqualified. Wow. Cheyenne says, I'm the most sought out psychology expert life coach in the world. I don't need a license for that, sweetie. Pre-order my new book, Live Your Promise, link in bio. And then people are clowning her. They put her up there with the lady that accused Stephon Diggs and who was clearly lying. It says, if I send you this, just know I'm about to lie about some ish. And then it says, not diagnosing anyone, but when someone constantly needs admiration, exaggerates credentials, lacks accountability, feels entitled to unquestioned praise, exploits people for personal gain, and becomes defensive or aggressive when questioned, those are traits commonly associated with narcissistic personality patterns, which I would have to agree to. Okay, so now I'm going to show you all the video that she posted to stud on all of us who are calling her out. And she looks quite lovely in this video. Now, I did, by the way, have to put a little emoji over her biscuits, because over her cakes, because I don't want any problems with ScrewTube. Okay, let's get into it. Let me say one more thing, too. Hold on, I'm returning a text real quick. Okay, so One thing I'll say is her choice of music in the video. Now, I had to remove it because of copyrights, right? So I just added my own music. But let me just say, the music she posted, the lyrics, look at DJ Big Six freaky self talking about, oh, show the cakes, please. I knew you'd want to see them. But here's the thing. The music that she was using in the video clips, it basically was like telling people off with the lyrics. Okay. It was hilarious. When I saw it, I was cracking up. I said, oh, she's dragging us, because one of the songs said something about, oh, I'm still going to be rich. I'm still going to get money, and then she's acting like she's eating. And then at the end, she played Nipsey Hussle song, grinding all my life, and she's mouthing the words and like letting us know, like, yeah, I've been grinding all my life, like, yeah, I've been doing this, like, y'all can sit down somewhere. Also, she posted saying, y'all still talking. Okay, so anyway, let's get into it.
Every time booking a sex game, my kick, the words, my faith, can't even on keeping money safe. An earthquake, don't call you out. Create a constant, just get it from your back. Such an awesome place, just a more for all. Fly hater, go ahead and get gone. Go ahead and get gone. Everybody pull my whole reason. Can't you see I'm on the move with my royals by my side? What sense of God? You spread rumors, we still shine. All you never podcast who we waving you away. We got love and soul, and that's here to stay. Booking a sex game, my kick, the words, my faith, can't even on keeping money safe. It's like an earthquake, don't call you out. Create a constant, just get it from your back. Such an awesome place, just a more for all. Fly hater, go ahead and get gone. Go ahead and get gone.
All righty then, honey. So I guess she said, I may not have the degree to show you all, but get a load of this. Okay, get a load of this. See, that was for the men to take you all's minds off of the fact that she's told all these lies. This is such narcissistic behavior. Now, she's showing us everything that she's got except for that damn degree. Okay, please pay attention. Now, she is fine and pretty to me. But at the end of the day, girl, we're going to need to see those receipts. Okay, well, let's keep going. Okay, likes up, everyone, please like and share. I thought that was funny.
Somebody pulls out a bikini instead of a diploma, the conversation is over. You know what's funny to me? The second people start asking for proof, degrees, credentials, certifications, suddenly the timeline turned into Bikini Bottom University. Now it's boat pictures, belly piercings, body shots, skin tight dresses, and why y'all so mean? Ma'am, all of this was supposed to be about whether or not you were qualified enough to give people life advice. Y'all see the men? They fold in like lawn chairs at a family reunion. Because see, some people will believe anything if the messenger got on lip gloss and a cute smile. That's why the scammers stay employed. See, I don't even know what a Iyanla Vanzant's belly button looks like. Oprah ain't posting thirst traps every time somebody got a question. Professionals usually let their work speak for itself. But see, sometimes when people can't win arguments, they try to distract you with the aesthetics. Don't look at the missing credentials. Look at my swimsuit. Girl, please. I want y'all to watch. Give it a few months. Everybody that loves her now going to be calling her everything but the child of God once they realize that the fantasy that they created in their minds doesn't match reality. Some of y'all don't want truth. Y'all want pretty eyes with the ring light. The minute somebody pulls out.
Well, I find it all interesting. Broken Silence says, hey, Broken Silence says the oldest distraction in the book, breast, thighs, ASS, and a pretty face. Okay. Absolutely. Absolutely. It is what it is. Says pretty and can dress her ace off. However, lie, lie, lie. Yeah. I'm still not buying what she's selling. Okay, let's continue.
This is how you know she really don't have a degree, right? Because at this point, now it's no longer about proving your degree to the general public, proving your degree to the naysayers. Now, your not having a degree is going to cause a problem for them good white folks. And what I mean by those good white folks is your book publisher. So here is the gag. In order to keep them from having to refund money and their credibility being called into question or whatever legal liability may rest on them for publishing the book, hands down, they are going to put downward pressure on you to show your degree. And if you are so in your ego to the point where you would refuse to show your degree to your publisher because you don't want to look like you gave in to the people, we know that's some bullshit. See, now that your money about to get messed with, compromised, and you won't show your degree, that's further proof that you won't have one. Additionally,
Well, that was Funky Daniva talking, and I have to agree. Okay? I have to agree. Now, D Major said, I agree. This was for the women to make them jealous. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that as well. I do know that's why I said in the beginning that she was coming for those of us who have been, clapping back at those of us who've been going in on her, calling her out. But I do think that it was also for the men to take their focus off of the lies that she's been telling. Now, with that all being said, so yeah, I absolutely agree with what you all are saying, though. And let me just apologize to Buckhorse DC for this morning because I took your comment the wrong way. I meant to say that before I conclude the broadcast earlier. Okay, so I apologize for that, beloved. Now, let's continue because on this clip, now I've never seen this before. This is a recent podcast that she was on. And she basically talks about how she was the first Black woman to own a business on Melrose. So y'all know I had to fact check it, right? Okay, let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Now I'm going to have to use an overlay because I don't know if this is on YouTube or not.
Yeah. Majority of the bills, and I was in school with 26 units a semester. I was running an entire mobile legal company that I owned. So I was moving and shaking. And at 21 years old, you was doing that? At 21, I bought my first house at 19 years old. What? Bought my first house at 19 in the city of Long Beach, in North Long Beach. Let's go. I bought a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house and then built a whole loft in the backyard and rented.
Let me stop right there. She said, if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to roll it back so I don't lie on her. But didn't she say that she was taking 21 credit hours at once? That would be the equivalent of about 7 classes. So she was taking 7 classes at a time. Now, maybe she was because I took 5. But let's see here. No, I did that when I was getting my bachelor's. I didn't do that the whole time. Hold on.
Lost in June, in North Long Beach. Let's go. I bought a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house and then built a whole loft in the backyard and rented the whole thing out and moved in with him.
Hold on, I'm gonna go back.
And at 21 years old, you was doing that? And the bread, I was paying the majority of the bills, and I was in school with 26 units a semester. I was running an entire mobile legal company that I owned. So I was moving and shaking. And at 21 years old, you was doing that? 21, I bought my first house at 19 years old. What? Bought my first house at 19 in the city of Long Beach, in North Long Beach. Let's go. I bought a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house and then built a whole loft in the backyard and rented the whole thing out and moved in with him. Closer to my retail store that I had. I had 3 retail stores on Melrose. You know Melrose? Yes. Yeah, 3 retail stores. I was actually, I have to brag about this, y'all. I was the first, because I loved it. Yes. I was the first and youngest Black woman to ever own a store on Melrose. It was a French owner, and he said, how old are you? I'm not renting to you.
Let's stop right there. Okay, let's stop right there because I'm right here now. I don't believe that she was doing all of this, running 3 retail stores on Melrose and taking 26. I thought it was 21, but 26 units. That's 6 to 9 classes. Now, you absolutely can do that. I took 5, and that was hectic for me because I was working 40 hours a week at the same time I was doing this, but also that's an extreme workload. If you take 6 to 9 classes a single semester, that is an extreme workload. And it also usually requires that you get special permission from your academic dean or your advisor, okay? Because it's such a heavy workload. All right. So with that all being said, that is a lot. So I don't really know if she did that or not. I don't believe it. But what I will say is she's definitely lying about the Melrose thing, being the first Black woman. Because I'm going to share my screen. Let me just remove her for a second. Because I did look it up. And here's what it says. She said she owned 3 retail stores, mind you, on Melrose, was the first Black woman. Okay. Here's what it says when I Googled it. Who was the first Black woman to own a business on Melrose? It says several trailblazing Black women have made history by opening pioneering businesses on Los Angeles' famous Melrose Avenue, depending on the specific industry. Okay, so she said retail. Okay, so dispensing entrepreneur Raven made history by opening Dope Sugar. Okay, recognized as the first Black woman who opened a cannabis dispensary. Then we have fashion and lifestyle designer Atira Lyons, made headlines in 2020 by opening the Atira Lyons label boutique at just 20 years old. She opened the first and only Black woman-owned luxury do-rag and headwear store on Melrose Avenue. Now let's put in her name and see if she opened those 3 retail stores. Hold on, let me type in did Dr. Cheyenne 3 retail stores on Melrose. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant claimed to own 3 retail stores on Melrose Avenue in Los Angeles during a widely discussed Instagram podcast clip from 2025 regarding her background. However, this assertion is highly controversial. Critics, as well as the broader internet community, have fact-checked her. They widely concluded that the claim was likely a fabrication, similar to the intense scrutiny around the validity of her doctoral credentials from the defunct Argosy University. There is no verified public business records, real estate footprints, or local directories that link Dr. Bryant to operating storefronts on Melrose. So if she was the first Black woman to do that, as she says, there would definitely have been some sort of footprints, okay, some sort of proof and receipts that she did so, and there is none. So I'm just saying it's safe to assume that once again, she's not telling the truth. Okay, so let's go back and let her finish. Put the overlay back up.
Absolutely not. What? And I said, well, because I already owned my house, right? I got me a line of credit, baby, HELOC. I said, well, listen. I said, what if I gave you 6 months up of rent? He said, I don't trust you. You're too young. I said, I'll pay it up for a year. He said, deal. Sign the paper. I said, shoot, we got a deal. I paid that thing up for a year. And let me tell you, Ashley,
so smart.
Girl,
she said 1 year.
Because you know one thing about French folks.
Oh, yeah.
They rude.
Yeah.
And they don't play. With all due respect.
Yeah.
They don't play, and they to the point.
Yeah.
And I said, I paid up for a year. Man, I went and got that HELOC. I said, listen, I needed some out. I need a rush.
Yes.
We gotta go.
Against his house.
I got that line of credit.
Wow.
I gave him his year up of rent. And then he actually rented me my other 2 stores that he owned. He's like, oh, no. At that point, he was like, no problem.
I trust you
So
now.
I owned 3. And I was literally the youngest and the first Black woman to ever own a store on Melrose. Nick Cannon came to my store this is back in the day, because he ended up getting a store around the corner from me. And he was trying to buy the spot that I was in. So not a chance, brother. This store is making money, not a chance. And so at a young age, I bought my first house at 19. I had 3
You
retail
doing what
stores.
at that store? You selling what?
I had my own designer luggage and designer purses and bags. It was called Cheyenne Bryant, which is my first and middle name. And I had this factory that was in Italy called Raviani. And he made all my bags, cowhide, alligator, snake skin. Hold on, stuff that we couldn't. The bread, I was paying the majority of the bills. And I was in school with 26 units a semester. I was running an entire mobile legal company that I owned. So I was moving and shaking. And
at 21 years old, you was doing that?
21, I bought my first house at 19 years old.
What?
Okay, I'm sorry, you guys. I was trying to see if I could find those purses, those bags that she said she was selling. She called Cheyenne Nicole. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Yeah, I don't see anything coming up for that. I'm not gonna say she's lying, but I see a Janie Nicole Leather. When I type in Cheyenne Nicole, the only thing that comes up is her name. I said, where can I purchase Cheyenne Nicole bags? And the only thing that comes up is her name. And then other people who have bags named Nicole bag. I see one of those. Yeah, so I don't see that. So I don't know. I don't know why she would be saying stuff that just can be easily checked though. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. She has to be a pathological liar. Okay, let's continue. Let's keep going.
Hate it when y'all make me come in defense of a man. I really do. But here we are. So many times I have heard women, including myself, say that we want a man who's able to have communication without aggression. We want a man who is compassionate. We want a man who is able to speak with us without yelling and without, I don't know, getting buck and all of that. We want someone who is able to have serious conversations, lighthearted conversations, funny conversations, awkward conversations, or whatever, and still not lose that respect for us. I've heard that time and time again. And in the clip that I saw between these two, that's exactly what Toure was doing. He didn't agree with her statements about, gentle parenting. I didn't agree with it either, but he voiced his opinion. He voiced his reason why, and he tried to wrap it up. And she took a complete turn, an unnecessary turn. Why are we over here talking about, I'm not your wife, you better calm down talking to me like that, gentle. And we know what that is. You're trying to call him feminine. What? Because he not cussing you out and getting buck and saying he's gonna, put hands on you or something. So on the one hand, we say that we want some man who's able to talk to us with respect. But then when we have that, you get disrespectful. And we already have the situation where people don't think she's a doctor. And you're literally giving us examples on a platter. What doctor talks to somebody like that, especially in a public setting? What doctor, especially knowing how hard it is to get Black men in particular into therapy, what specialist, what doctor is going to publicly shame and ridicule a man for exhibiting the exact qualities that we have been saying that we want in a man? As a doctor, you don't think that maybe your actions would make a man see that and be like, oh, see, I'm over here trying to be soft. I'm trying to be cool. I'm trying to let my guard down. And then Toure getting talked to like he's a little bee. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep doing the same thing. You don't think that your actions could deter someone from changing the way that they communicate with women? I don't know, y'all. I didn't like it. I really just when we see a man who is exhibiting the qualities that we really need, we need more guys who are gentle. We need more of that. So when we see someone exhibiting that, I don't think that's your cue to start talking to him like you're DMX.
Not like she's DMX. Okay, I have to agree. Okay, so now with that all being said, RG Titan said a corner store doctor, and someone asked me, I forgot who it was. Greta said Amanda Seals. No, it was someone else said that I see what Amanda Seals said about her. Yes, I did. I'm going to show that clip. Okay, I was kind of surprised that Amanda was caping for her and acting like it was no big deal. But you know, Amanda has been accused of lying on this man a few years ago who didn't want to date her. Like she supposedly said some things about him. Okay, so anyway, she's a liar herself, in my opinion.
It only makes me think about the Dunning-Kruger effect. So if you don't know, the Dunning-Kruger effect is the concept that people who have an expertise and a deep knowledge of a thing are generally less confident to speak about a topic because they're aware of all the gaps in their knowledge. So I'm a lawyer, but I have like a serious hesitancy about sharing legal topics online because I'm aware of all the different intricacies and specific nuances that cover every area of law. So I know that I just don't know everything, right? But on the other hand, people who don't know very much, people with very limited surface knowledge typically have the utmost confidence to talk about things because they don't know what they don't know. So they are the ones who oftentimes will take up the most space. Hence people like Cheyenne Bryant. People who are experts need to take up space. Smart intellectual people rarely have as many podcasts as these pseudo-intellectual losers online. We cannot allow the internet, the general public, to be flooded with pseudo-intellectuals who don't understand anything and who can talk with the cadence of a pastor to take over every space. It is not okay, because this is what we end up with. The reason for this is, one, the death of the expert. Everybody thinks that everybody can do everything. There's no such thing as expertise anymore. And two, smart people are not confident enough. I'm speaking for myself. I'm speaking for all my friends. I'm speaking for everybody out there. All my academics, to all my thought leaders, to all my degreed, certified, licensed professionals. Please share your thoughts, take up space, because if we continue to allow these pseudo-intellectuals with honorary YouTube degrees to continue to be our thought leaders, we are in for a serious.
Now that she said honorary YouTube degrees, I am so done. Okay, now this lady is someone who I played before when she spoke. I played her video before, her TikTok when she spoke on Cheyenne Bryant before. But in this clip, she sounds like she's ticked off. She has a comment on the screen where someone basically told her that it wasn't wire fraud. If you all remember, this lady said that it was wire fraud. Okay, I said the same thing. Now, here's what someone tells her. It's not wire fraud if she has some sort of contract that says this is life coaching. If she's not calling it therapy sessions, she's not committing wire fraud. One could say offering legal advice or legal opinions. Okay, so they're trying to tell a lawyer about the law, which I find very interesting, but let's get into it.
So accustomed to people leading with their credentials, real or fake, in order to lend them some credibility, that you can't fathom that someone might actually have credentials without blasting it at the beginning of every fucking video. You have never seen, and I don't know how much of my shit you've ever seen, but over the last couple of years that I've been making videos, you have never once, no one has ever seen me say, "Hi, I'm Sheila. I have been a lawyer, a practicing lawyer in Florida for the last 19 years. Because either you find me credible, either I sound like I know what the fuck I'm talking about, or I don't. I don't need to borrow credibility from my law license to make videos." So this person says, clearly an expert, it's not wire fraud if she, Cheyenne Bryant, has some sort of contract that says this is life coaching. False. If she's not calling it therapy sessions, she's not committing wire fraud. False. One could say offering legal advice or legal opinions, the part that got cut off is, would be practicing law without a license. Babe, I don't know how to break this to you. I am actually an attorney. That's number one. Number two, providing legal opinions without a law license for the sake of a video or for the internet and not one-to-one and taking money for it is not practicing law without a license. Look at you. You're providing a legal opinion here, and I don't think that you have a law license. Do you? Should I alert the FBI? You have no clue what you're talking about. Back to the substance of it, you're mistaken. Her website says she's a doctor. Her website waxes poetic about her pursuit of her doctoral degrees. She calls herself a psychology expert, okay? I don't care if she calls it life coaching or therapy. Either way, she is fraudulently inducing people into hiring her for services that are offered by PhDs. There are plenty of PhDs who offer life coaching. You can be a PhD and do life coaching. You can be a JD and be a life coach. You can be an MD and be a life coach. You could have no degree at all and be a life coach. The point is, she's adding credibility to her name by saying she's a PhD in psychology. She's adding credibility to her name to induce people to trust her. Just like you need someone to induce you to trust them. If I had started that video I made by saying, hey guys, Sheila's only of 19 years, you wouldn't have left this fucking comment, would you? Because you need people to lead you. Anyway, you're incorrect. I don't even think you have a full grasp of what she did. So whatever you punched into ChatGPT was incorrect. It gave you a bad response because your input was bad. Try again.
Yikes. Okay, she clearly went in. Okay, Indigo says she can use all of this that y'all are getting out and transmuting and becoming greater. Y'all are giving energy. Well, you're giving it energy too, beloved, because you're watching the videos and commenting. Second of all, yes, anything, listen, any story that's trending online, people are going to tend to give it energy. That's just what it is. And hey, if she can use this, that the information or the things that people are saying to her benefit, that would be good, right? That would be a good thing. Okay. I would love to see her be great, but be great by telling the truth, not fraudulently. Okay. I don't want to see her doing bad. I'm sure most people don't. We just want her to be held accountable and not to be lying. So there's nothing wrong with giving it energy at the end of the day. And as I said, people do need to be called out. So are we not supposed to ask her or, question her to try to get accountability? I absolutely think that we all should. I think we absolutely all should say it's all fake on that side. I don't know exactly what you mean by it's all fake on that side, but at the end of the day, whether we're giving it energy or not, that is our prerogative. Okay, now and as I said, you're giving it energy too, beloved. You're watching the video and you're commenting. Okay, so you're just as guilty as the rest of us if that's how you want to call it. Now, with that all being said, this is right. D-Mac said what side? Exactly. That's where I'm confused. Okay, now here's the thing. This is another attorney. Her name is Attorney Simone. Okay, I saw her video where she was talking about it, and let's go to what she says. Could Cheyenne Bryant go to jail? She's going to break it down or whatever. I'm not going to play her whole video. I just want to see this part right here where she's showing this clip and listen to a little bit of what she says. Okay, and like I said, this is an actual attorney. Let's get into it.
One because of Cheyenne, which is a lie for other reasons we won't get into, but that was hilarious. But I saw this on Threads. Now, this is Dr. Starkid. He wrote, just saw a clip from Justin LeBoy's podcast where Cheyenne Bryant says she's, quote, the president and vice president, yes, both, of some of the biggest colleges in LA, and that she was a law professor before, quote, closing down her practice. You mean the one where she was giving people therapy illegal? That one, okay.
Let me stop right there. So he says that Cheyenne claims that she was a law professor before closing down her practice. I don't think that's true, because if you all remember when she was giving her explanation on the Breakfast Club, she said that the reason she was trying to get her transcripts from Argosy is because she wanted to be a law professor at some law school, or she wanted to be a professor at some law school. Do you all remember that? She said she wanted to be a professor at some law school, and that's why she needed the transcripts. But she never got the transcripts. Okay, so how was she all of a sudden a professor there or at some law school? I don't know. The story's getting more and more convoluted as we go by. I mean, as the days go by.
He says it's bizarre and scary to see the level of clear compulsive lying. I've actually known people like this before, and they would lie about completely innocuous and irrelevant things, almost as if it was a reflex. So I listened to this and I was like, surely it's AI. It's not. So I'm gonna play it for you just for a quick little chuckle. Y'all listen to this.
Shows my resume speaks for itself. I'm the president and vice president of some of the biggest colleges here in Los Angeles and of the biggest civil rights organization, NAACP, for Los Angeles, San Bernardino, Wilmington, Palo Verde. So
president
I didn't let those things go, or my board association.
She said she was the president and vice president for some of the biggest colleges in California. Now, I don't recall her ever saying that before. So that's something new on her resume. DJ Big Six said she's just like Trump. Trisha said unnecessary lies. Okay, let's keep listening because this is all nefarious.
Go. I just closed up my practice, and I was a professor at a law school. And so those were all things that I knew because of my work ethic and my relationships, that if I walked out today, I can make a phone call and everything can be right back in action.
And to the people that are out there saying, what does degree matter? Well, it matters to her, because if it didn't matter, she wouldn't have lied about it, right? Going back to the legalities. Hold on, there's another clip I want to play for you.
The person who invented this cleaning product is so smart. No matter how dirty your oven is, it will instantly clean with zero scrubbing. Take any dirty surface, spray over the...
Now, y'all know I love me a good armchair lawyer. So in follow-up, talking about the legalities of it, someone then wrote in follow-up to Cheryl, they said, it's not wire fraud. Because basically the main...
Okay, I'm going to skip past that because we already saw that video. But here's the thing. I typed in what California colleges is Dr. Cheyenne Bryant president and vice president of. Okay, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant does not serve as president or vice president of any California colleges. She has served on various collegiate boards, such as Los Angeles Harbor College, but her primary leadership roles are in community activism and media, most notably as the president of the NAACP in San Pedro, California. Okay. And like I told y'all, it's very easy to become a member of the NAACP and to even become a president of the NAACP. I literally joined the NAACP when I was like 20 years old, 20 or 21, something like that. I'm not a member now, but I'm just saying. Okay, so let's continue. So another lie. What is she lying about, saying she's president and vice president of these colleges for?
Charge that she'd be dealing with potentially is a form of wire fraud, because she's used electronic communications to either receive payment from people for these life coaching sessions, even if they weren't therapy sessions, right? Even the life coaching sessions, they think that they're getting from someone who's a doctor of psychology. And no. So this person writes, it's not wire fraud.
Okay, I'm going to pass this because like I said, we already saw it.
Represent to someone that you're a doctor, or that you're providing them with therapy, which you're not. Each individual one subjects you to up to the 20 years. And before I give you my thoughts on that, I'm going to play this clip. This one.
I think that's something that people don't understand, is that prosecutors have wide discretion in how they charge cases. Mm-hmm. Could Cheyenne Bryant be charged with false advertising? Yep. Maybe on the low end, but false advertising is an element of wire fraud. Mm-hmm. Okay. There's obviously an intent, but where wire fraud is different is,
and this is because the person who wrote the question, they says, is this really wire fraud? At most, I think it's false advertising.
That there's a scheme involved. There's an intent and scheme involved,
for false advertising.
And the wire is being used to disseminate that scheme and to collect money from that scheme. And why do I think there's a scheme? Because she endeavored in every way possible to convey to the world that she is a doctor of psychology. Okay. She goes on podcasts. She writes a book. It's all over her website, that she is a doctor of psychology. I've seen clips of her saying that she used to have a license. She just chose not to renew it.
That's a lie. She's never, ever had a license, y'all.
Because she doesn't need it for what she does. And because she doesn't take insurance. She has gone over and above board. It wasn't just one little blurb on her website that would have misled someone into believing that she was a doctor.
Right. All right. So you hear the gist of it there, right? So here's the bottom line, if you ask me. And you're here. So we're going to assume that you're asking me. The bottom line is she's absolutely committed civil and criminal offenses. She has been practicing therapy. She's been practicing medicine specifically. So that is a component of medicine, practicing medicine without a license. Now that goes to, that would generally go to the medical board, but you can't take it to the medical board here because she's not licensed.
And let me just say this. Okay, Greta says she's the doctor of lies. Exactly. But I have to agree with Reggie. Reggie said that he thinks that her telling all these lies and, trying to act as though she's this person she isn't, releases dopamine for her. I absolutely believe it. It makes her feel good. And, that's the thing about narcissists. Okay, they tell lies that do make them feel good, that make them have, because they have a inflated sense of self, so to speak. But what I also want to say before I let Dr. Simone continue is that she was not a law professor if she does not have that degree. She wouldn't have to have her doctorate in law. She could have a doctorate, period, even though at a law school, they would prefer those who have a Juris Doctorate. However, they will hire people with other types of doctorates, but at the end of the day, she doesn't have one. She would have shown it. She would have shown it by now. Why would she be going through all of this, taking all of this ridicule, getting all of this backlash, when she could simply just show her degree, just like the lady that claims to have gone to school with her and many other people have done? So that's just another lie. But let's continue.
But there are administrative, for that, it would be a misdemeanor. In California, in the prior video I put on the screen, it is a misdemeanor to hold yourself out as a medical professional when you're not. Keep that under the state of California's laws. Federal law is where the wire fraud could come in. That can also be a state law thing. And, for each count, she's exposed to 20 years. But here's what we have to remember. This is LA. This is LA County. They got a whole bunch of problems between crackheads, Skid Row, corrupt politicians, and all of the above. So realistically, she wouldn't be seeing any criminal time at all, unless there was evidence of a serious harm. So for example, if she was giving someone life coaching sessions, right, and that person wanted to unalive themselves, and she continued to deal with them and they made an attempt, then she could be in bigger trouble. Then I could see potential criminal charges proceeding. But at this point, there's no harm that we've seen on a small or large scale. It's kind of like, remember that young guy that was pretending to be a doctor? The reason he served actual jail time is because he was treating patients and harming them physically. They were more sick than before, okay? So that was a large part of it. Here, we have, I did share on my page someone who paid money for a session, got a session with her and felt like it was totally useless. But that person has not articulated any harm, for example, with respect to them wanting to harm themselves in any serious danger. So at best, she could end up like Stormy Wellington, right? Where Stormy Wellington was told, hey, this is false advertising. So for example, I could absolutely see the state of California sending her a notice telling her it's false advertising. She has to stop using the title because she's using it misleadingly. Some people are like, she's using it under her trademark, not as a doctor. Girl, that is a bold-faced lie. Stop lying to yourself because ain't nobody else following that. In fact, no one knew she even had the name trademark until I pulled the trademark and shared it with the world. So don't start that with me, okay? That's number one. Number two, she's never even told the world that she had a trademark. And finally, you cannot falsely use a trademark. So if you are using it to portray that you're an actual medical practitioner, literally anyone who wanted to could oppose her trademark right now. Anyone. You don't even have to be someone using it. So I say that to say the trademark does not protect her from civil or criminal liability. But if anything, I could see the state of California hitting her with some type of perhaps a fine or some type of public reprimand for false advertising and telling her she can no longer use that title. And it particularly given that she's proclaiming to be a medical professional. So for those who are like, she needs to go to jail. Sorry, boo. Bookie, it ain't happening. Just got to tell you the truth. I'm your legal bestie, attorney Simone.
Okay, so shout out to Dr. Simone for that information. Now, with that all being said, D Major says, well, Trump must be in a state of ecstasy because he's a perpetual and serial liar, allegedly. Absolutely. And then Reggie said, Queen, don't go in on me and talking about you're a Virgo. Yeah, because you all know that I said the Virgos that I know, I mean, literally every single one that I know personally, they're narcissists. Okay. They absolutely are narcissists. Okay. Please pay attention. Now we're going to go to the Amanda Seales video. That's the last one. And then we're going to talk about Jaxson Dart. Okay. So you Eladamus, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, beloved. It says Dr. Phil, who is not really a doctor, but has a TV show. No, Dr. Phil is actually a doctor, honey. He has a whole PhD, beloved. I said this maybe a week or two ago. Dr. Phil holds a doctoral degree in PhD in clinical psychology. Okay, so he definitely does have a doctorate. All right, now he isn't licensed. Okay, he surrendered his license voluntarily, his psychology license in Texas in 2006. Okay, he didn't bother to get it renewed or any of that. He went on TV where he didn't need it. Okay, but he absolutely has a doctorate, a PhD. Okay, you can check his credentials. Just Google it. Okay, so now with that all being said, let's go to what Miss Amanda Seales had to say when she was caping for Dr. Bryant. Here we go. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. And here's the thing. Cheyenne even said that Oprah didn't have a degree. She brought up Oprah and Tyler Perry. And I'm like, girl, how are you friends with Ayala Van Zandt and you don't know that Oprah absolutely graduated from college? Please.
So obsessed about Cheyenne Bryant. I'm beginning to think that this is a bot thing. Why are you so obsessed about this? Like, okay, she lied. I can see if she lied and like harmed people, but she was on my podcast and she was brilliant. I think it's up that she lied. You know, and then that's that. The need to...
Before I let her continue, let me just tell you all, this is one liar defending another, okay? I guarantee you, and let's not forget how Amanda Seales loves to bash men as well. So if this were a man that we were talking about, do you think Amanda would be caping for him? Okay. Do you think someone's DJ The Truth said, didn't somebody try to compare Cheyenne to Maya Angelou? Yes, they did, because they said Dr. Maya Angelou doesn't have a PhD either, and she doesn't. She doesn't. Now, I didn't know that until I looked it up. Dr. Maya Angelou had 50 honorary doctor degrees, but she never had a physical, or she never graduated college with a PhD. I did not know that, okay? But to me, there's still no comparison, because what Dr. Maya Angelou was not doing was going around perpetrating that she was a therapist or a psychology expert in trying to treat people who possibly had mental health issues. She wasn't doing that. Okay, so anyway, and she also wasn't lying and trying to act as though she had a PhD. She just called herself Dr. Maya Angelou, I guess, because she had those 50 honorary doctorates. But anyway, hold on. Let's talk about Amanda Seales, who's sitting here caping, saying that, so what if she lied? Anytime somebody says, so what if they lied, they're a liar themselves. Let's get into it. In 2019, Amanda Seales faced severe backlash and accusations of spreading false information when she publicly linked former NFL player and medical assistant Myron Rowe to sexual harassment claims. Do you all remember that? Do you all remember that? Because I do. And they say she had fallout. Amid the fallout, Seals posted a follow-up video clarifying that she herself had not been harassed by Roll. She explained that she had not investigated the claims herself, but was only passing along the stories that other women brought to her. The incident became a heavily debated topic regarding the ethics of public figures broadcasting unverified accusations. It is frequently brought up by her critics online when discussing her history of commentary on social issues. Seals later discussed the mental toll and online harassment she endured in the aftermath. And here's why she got all that hell. Here's why she got all that hell, because for one, she was supposedly, she liked that guy and wanted to date him, and allegedly he rejected her. So then all of a sudden she comes out talking about he's an sexual assaulter or harassment, but she made it seem as though he did this to her, if memory serves me correct. Okay, so he released a statement strongly denying the allegations, calling them intentional character assassination and bullying, acts of bullying, intimidation, and retaliation, because she was mad because that man didn't want her. Okay, so that's why she came out saying those sexual harassment claims, acting like, because she said something about the man came to her house. I can't remember, because that was in 2019. I can't remember the whole story, but I do remember because I used to be on Facebook back then, and I was talking about it on Facebook. Everybody was talking about it. Okay, and this is why she doesn't want us talking about Cheyenne, and this is why she's so dismissive of us calling her out and saying that she's a liar. She's like, so what if she lied? Well, you know, lies can ruin people's lives. Okay, lies can hurt people. That's why. And people need to take accountability, Miss Amanda, but let's let her cook.
If y'all went this hard against like Kamala Harris for supporting a genocide, then like what would that would matter to me?
First of all, one has nothing to do with the other. Okay?
There's no match. I don't need to have some type of debate with Cheyenne Bryant. At the end of the day, for some reason, she felt like she needed to lie about credentials. I don't know why. I think part of the reason is because we live in a world where we act like credentials is what determines somebody's effectiveness across the board. And in some respects, it is absolutely necessary. And in her respect, it actually wasn't necessary for her to do the work that she does. That being said, I just don't care.
So she's blaming it on, listen to this. So she's trying to blame it on the fact that because credentials are important, it's okay that she lied. Well, if that's the case, why in the hell does anyone need to go to college ever? We can all just lie and act as though we have degrees when we really don't. Because remember, credentials are important. So let's just all say that we have degrees. Like, girl, sit down. You sound so stupid. Let's let her continue.
I don't care. She was on my podcast and she was incredible. I don't care. I think it sucks, and I think it was not smart, and I think that at the end of the day, there are people who work really hard to get doctorates. There are also people who call themselves doctor when they get an honorary doctorate, and I don't think that's much different. I don't think it's much different. Maya Angelou was walking around calling herself Dr. Maya Angelou. She didn't complete a doctorate. Some university gave her a doctorate.
But here is the thing. Let's get into it. She cannot really compare Dr. Maya Angelou because, as I said, Dr. Maya Angelou actually taught at a college. First of all, okay, back in 1982, she worked at what was the name of it? She had a lifetime teaching appointment at Reynolds Professor of American Studies at Wake Forest University in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, where she taught a wide variety of subjects at the university, ranging from poetry and theater. Okay, so they knew what her credentials were and what they weren't. She never lied to get the position. Okay, second of all, like I said, she was not out here dealing with people's mental health or any of those things and perpetrating a whole fraud. So please stop trying to drag down a whole legend for some thought pocket who wants to post thirst trap videos to try to make everyone jealous. Okay, please pay attention.
Good. Which university was it? Was it Spelman? I think it was Spelman. So I just don't. Yeah, Maya Angelou had an honorary doctorate. She didn't complete a doctoral. She didn't do doctoral study. It's like faux rage to be like all up in arms about this one person. So someone here said, this one person is influencing vulnerable Black people and therefore they are causing harm. It's funny how you can hand wave that away so callously. How is she causing harm? How is she causing harm? Is she giving bad advice?
Yes.
Is she invoking folks to harm themselves? How is she causing harm? She is falsely using a title to give people, to endear people to trust her more. That's whack. Causing harm? I don't know, playa. I think your version of harm is really loose compared to how much harm is being caused to Black people in real life. Listen to who you want to, don't listen. Okay? Like I said, Cheyenne Bryant was on my podcast and she was excellent.
Okay, Amanda, thanks, but no thanks, girl. Okay, sit down somewhere. She just made a fool out of herself, if you ask me. You're sitting there caping for somebody and being so dismissive of people. And this is what gets me. You see, I want you all to pay attention. Because there sadly are some people who will absolutely get upset with those of us who are just speaking the truth. Because they want to cape for people who are liars, manipulators, and fraudsters. Okay? And then there are some people who will say, when we're doing videos about these people or talking about them or whatever, they'll say, oh, y'all are clout chasing. First of all, how's it a clout chase? Because many times you get backlash for calling these people out, especially when it's someone as popular as a Cheyenne Bryant. But I'm going to call them out anyway because I don't care what anyone says. People need to be held accountable, and that's just what it is. Okay, so now let's get into this whole thing about Jaxson Dart. And you know, this whole thing about him, really, this is what gets me about Jaxson Dart. He's the prime example of what my friend Sam said yesterday on the video that I played. If you all remember Secret Service Sam's video that I played where he said, stop inviting them to the cookout. He said, if Black people see a white person who can dance, okay, or they could rap some rap lyrics or whatever, we want to invite them to the cookout. And he said, stop doing that. Yeah, that's why some Black people, you know, really thought Jaxson Dart was all that. It was always something about him that I never liked. So always, I didn't like the fact that I saw him copy Shakur Sanders one time, for one, when he put up the perfect timing wrist. Okay, I'm like, dude, you can't come up with your own stuff. And then it was just something else about him that I couldn't put my finger on it. But here's the thing. I'm going to go to a video of him dancing or whatever. See, here's the thing. People like him, this is what annoys me. These people who out here voting for Trump that don't give a darn about him being racist and hateful and anti-Black and all of that. Now some of them want to cry foul because their lives are being impacted by the foolish choices and decisions that he's been making as of late. But there are still many of them that are still down for him. These people don't care about the harm that could be done to anyone else. But they'll sit there and they'll act as though they're all down with our culture. Okay, they'll get their hair in locks. They'll try to dress like us, dance like us, use our lingo and all of those things. And that's what ticks me off about people like that. Okay, because stop trying to be so entrenched in Black culture when you don't even damn like Black people. And that's what I think about Jaxson Dart. Now, none of us should be surprised that he's a Trumpster because he was raised in Utah, went to school in Mississippi. Okay, so that should have told us right there. But anyway, let's go to the clip. Now, I took out the music and added my own because of copyright issues.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud, spreading no light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna.
Okay, see, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about right there. But now he's a whole Trumpster. Okay, let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, here we go.
New York Giants, Jaxson Dart, introduced Donald Trump at his rally today. And I could talk about how pathetic it was, how he tried to lead a chant that nobody joined in, how his speech sucked, and it was really obvious he didn't know what to say up there. I could talk about any of those things, but all I'm going to say is for a quarterback that's only played 1 year in the league and is from a team that's based in New Jersey, out of New York as well, both blue states, probably not a good idea to align yourself with the president who has like a 30% approval rating and is best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. That's why my GOAT, Jalen Hurts, doesn't go to the White House when he's invited with Donald Trump in the Oval Office. He just does his thing. He stays focused. And that's why Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback on and off the field. So the starting.
You tell him, Harry. Okay, you tell him. I have to absolutely agree. All right, I have to absolutely agree. Let's continue.
Is America. Jaxson Dart has every right to support Donald Trump. Just like Abdul Carter has every right to publicly disagree with him for doing so. But from a football standpoint, yeah, this seems like an absolute insane decision from an NFL franchise starting quarterback. Because the return on investment here just doesn't make any sense. Now you politically have a divided locker room, constant New York City media attention, and every single loss the Giants take this year somehow getting tied back to this bullshit. And for exactly what? Who benefits more from this, Jaxson Dart or Donald Trump? Because for me, I don't think either one does. Trump looks bad just for having someone publicly support him get trashed like this. I knew there was something about this guy I didn't like. I mean, he plays quarterback wearing a thick chain, a thick rope around his neck, studded out with diamonds. It screams Broadway Joe Namath to me. It screams to me that he's looking for attention. And fans just want their quarterback to be focused on football, leadership, chemistry, and winning games, not turning the locker room into cable news content before the freaking season even starts. And let's be honest, an NFL locker room is overwhelmingly black. So what does Jaxson Dart think he's doing when he says something like this? If he's not smart enough to realize that that's going to divide his very own locker room in New York City, no less, with the media coverage that the Giants get just from being New York City's team, he knowingly jumped into one of the most polarizing situations imaginable. He can't act all shocked when some teammate feels alienated or frustrated by his comments. If he wasn't smart enough to know that that was going to be the result, how is he smart enough to be the quarterback of an NFL roster? The quarterback position is also majorly about judgment, and this does not show good judgment. And regardless of the politics, the actual speech itself was rough. The awkward, what's up, what's up, what's up, stumbling through the chant and forgetting what comes after 46, and saying he was pleasured to introduce Donald Trump. This kid's a moron. And that clip is going viral for all the wrong reasons. Now the Giants have to hope this story fades quickly, because otherwise this becomes a season-long distraction before a single meaningful preseason snap is even made. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comment section. And
let me tell you all something that I also noticed about this whole thing. There are some people, of course, defending Jaxson Dart, as we knew there would be. Boomer Esiason really pissed me off when he tried to come for Abdul Carter. Okay, I'll get into that momentarily. But the thing of it is, for the people that are trying to defend Jaxson Dart, Well, I thought we weren't supposed to have politics in the NFL or in sports. Because isn't that what they said about Colin Kaepernick when he was peacefully protesting? You see how they reacted when Colin Kaepernick did it, but it's okay for him to do it. These people are such nefarious hypocrites, and it's really just annoying at this point. Okay, let's continue. Now, this next clip, I'm going to pause it for a second, or I'm going to pause it and then fast forward because they start playing music at one part. Okay, let's get into it. That's right. DJ Big Six says, shut up and dribble, right? Exactly. Exactly.
What's up? Yeah. Big Blue Nation, it's a pleasure to be here. I got to start this off with a Go Big Blue. I'd love it if y'all would follow with me. Go Big Blue. Go Big Blue. Go Big Blue. Go Big Blue. What an honor. What a privilege it is to be here. And without further ado, I'm grateful, I'm honored, I'm pleasured to introduce the 45th and 47th president of
quarterback that they just drafted, I think a year ago. But listen, he decided to come out and introduce President Trump within a Trump rally. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna preface this by saying, listen, you can come out and support whoever you want to. You come out and vote for whoever you want to, say whatever you want to, freedom of speech, all these different things. I'm not telling you who to support, who to vote for, but understand that when you do things like this, it is gonna come with massive backlash. I mean, the entire locker room is it's crazy. I mean, you see it right here. The Abdul Carter, he said, I thought this was AI. What are we doing? He plays on the team as well, guys. This is the reality. I'm gonna save my thoughts on it later on in the video, but people are furious and they're losing all over the internet. This is crazy, guys. Let's check this out.
Yesterday, the quarterback for the New York Giants did this.
I'm grateful, I'm honored, I'm pleasured to introduce the 45th and 47th president of the United States.
Slide that you said pleasured, by the way. Pleasured? You're pleasured? I wouldn't say that around the guy that's protecting the files, but also just not a great look.
Yeah.
So much so that his fellow 2025 draft class member, Abdul Carter, said this. What this was AI doing, man.
Yeah.
Not great. There were so many opportunities to get off the Trump ride in this moment of 2026, after all the bullshit that is going on in this country during his second term, whether we're talking about ICE, whether we're talking about his open, blatant corruption, whether it's his sons getting money, himself, enriching himself, building this bullshit ballroom, starting an illegal war, protecting the files. What on earth could you possibly still be drawn to? Other than maybe the racism and the bigotry. Gutting the Civil Rights Act. Maybe you like that. Either way, that
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know why anybody's surprised. He went to Ole Miss. Like, why is anybody surprised at this point? I mean, probably the reddest state in the entire country. I mean, these are the political views of that entire state. Like, what are we surprised about? Truly, that is my thought. But I think about the locker room, the team chemistry that is going to be.
What's up? What's up?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, I am absolutely not surprised at all. And that's the thing. How is it going to be in the locker rooms when these black players know that he doesn't give a darn about them? Because that's what it's given. And here's the thing, too. Anybody that's still down with Trump after the Epstein files dropped, anybody that still has no problem with the Republicans staying in power, the people that are saying, oh, I'm going to vote from the couch, you don't care about children and you don't care about PDF files, because we all know by now what was in the Epstein files. And we also know that it was mostly Republicans, like I told you all. And I went through those files for weeks and you all know it. And I showed you the receipts. The only Democrat that I recall seeing in there was Bill Clinton. Those other people were Republicans, and those are the same people helping Trump to keep this stuff under wrap, not wanting everything to be released and not to have full transparency, and also protecting any of the co-conspirators from getting charges. Okay, so if you're down with PDF files, That's fine, but just say that. Okay, just say that. And stop making asinine excuses. Okay, but let's continue. Because this is what Plies had to say about Jaxson Dart. I'm going to use an overlay on this too, just in case.
Message to my black athletes, especially at the professional level and the collegiate level. This is just a thought I had. I just seen the clip with Jaxson Dart introducing 47, and I said to myself, I said, man, this shit is interesting to me. Like, the white boys ain't got no problem letting you know where the fuck they stand. They don't give a fuck about no gas prices, $5. He ain't give a fuck about no Iran war. He don't give a fuck about no $1.7 billion slush fund. He don't give a fuck about them redrawing the maps and want black folks to be represented by white folks. He don't give a fuck none of that. Jaxson Dart said, "This, I'm letting you know. This why I said this how I'm rocking. This how I'm motherfucking rocking. That's just that. I wouldn't give a goddamn how many Cuban links he wear and do the motherfucking stanky leg in the motherfucking end zone. All that shit that he do to try to make you think he cool. He don't give a. He's telling you, this my motherfucking guy. This my motherfucking guy." Not just him, motherfucking the Bosa's motherfucker out there doing the dance during the motherfucking regular season. And I'm saying to myself, why is it that the white boys ain't got no motherfucking problem letting you know where they stand? They don't give a fuck no endorsement. They ain't give a fuck none of that. But when it come to us, we scared to motherfucking chew gum too motherfucking loud. I'm cool if you ain't into the politics. I get all of that. But you need to be into motherfucking something. If it ain't even for your own motherfucking good. And I know it's the bronze of the world. You got some motherfuckers on the front line. But for the most part, I'm trying to motherfucking figure out, why is it the white boys is cool with you motherfucking knowing where they motherfucking stand?
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. I can never get enough of liberal tears. Okay, my cup overfloweth when...
Okay, that's somebody trying to drag the libs talking about Plies. Now, with that all being said, Nia says, Queen, Dems are for immigrants. We're caught between a rock and a hard place. Listen, we all know that they're for the immigrants, okay? Just because the Republicans aren't for the immigrants, that doesn't mean anything to me, because the Republicans hate black people, in my opinion. Now, everything that they have been doing is anti-black. You cannot say that about the Democrats. You'll get some of the things that you want with the Democrats. We've always gotten some of the things we want, and we're not going to get everything we want from anybody. And I'm tired of giving this speech because I've given it before. But since you apparently weren't here, I'm going to give it again. The bottom line is, are you down with PDF files? Are you down with people who would vote the Voting Rights Act, who would gut that to disparage black people, to keep us from being able to have representation, to sideline us, okay, to take away our rights? Are you okay with that? Is that less important to you? And the Democrats being for immigrants is more important for you? Is that how you see it? That's what you should ask yourself, beloved. Because for me, I'm not caught between a rock and a hard place. I know that there's no way in hell that I want the Republicans to stay in power. They have disrespected the black soldiers who fought and died in World War II. They have erased their memory, took down their things. I told you all that this morning. They have done many things to disparage us. And if you knew what they really have planned for us, somebody did a video about it, about how they want to get rid of black people. Okay, I may show the video on here. I'm not sure, but somebody sent it to me the other day. But at the end of the day, they have much more nefarious plans. So the problem with some of you is that you are so caught up with what the Democrats didn't do, or the fact that the Democrats seem to be helping the immigrants. I get it. Okay, I get it. But the bottom line is, would you rather for your children to be in FEMA camps, i.e. concentration camps? Would you rather for yourself to be there? Would you rather for you not to be able to access your money because you said something or did something that they didn't like? Would you prefer that life? Would you rather for things to be the way they've always been? Okay, that's all I'm saying. Both are trying to get rid of us. Dems want to replace us with immigrants. That's idiotic, beloved. They could never replace us with immigrants, even if they let 1 million immigrants come into this country. How could anybody replace us if we're still here? Trump said that he wants to have people who are citizens deported. Now, who do you think he's talking about? White people? Who do you think that he's talking about? White people? So what you need to do is just stop focusing on the Democrats. That's the problem with some of you. I don't know what I don't know. I don't want to say too much. But my thing is, let me just talk to the other Black people. Nia, at this point, I'm not even talking to you. But let me say this to the Black people who listen to me on a regular basis, beloveds. What we need to do is we need to focus on what's going on right now. Right now, we have people that are PDF files who have been accused of heinous things, including murdering children in the Epstein files. You want those people to still be in power? Do you want those people to still be in power? Do you think your children are safe with those sort of people in power? Do you think it's okay for us to have blatant racist people who are doing everything they can against us, everything they can to bring us down? You saw what I showed you in that Handmaid's Tale document. That's what I call it. You saw you heard what I told you about Project 2025 and Project 2030. It is beyond nefarious. And that is by the Republicans. That's not the Democrats. So at this point, I don't really give a damn if the Democrats don't mind immigrants coming here. First of all, I told you all years ago that the immigrants actually stimulate the economy. They do work that most people don't want to do. Well, see, here's the trick of it all. The Republicans try to make us feel like, specifically Trump, they're taking Black jobs. What jobs are the immigrants taking? Somebody put it in the chat. What Black jobs are they taking? What Black jobs are they taking? Because we see the immigrants doing things that we know darn well we don't want to do. Do we not? Do we not? That's right. Quiet Storm said farms. Okay, do we work on farms? Most of us? Now, there are some Black farmers, but those people hire who they want to hire. Okay? Most of the immigrants, you see them doing things like selling fruits and vegetables. Okay? They may do cleaning at buildings and things like that. What I'm saying is the majority of Black people are not even in competition with immigrants for the jobs that they're doing. Okay? And if so, the main ones you would be competing against would be the immigrants from China and India. And those are not the ones being deported. They're deporting the Mexicans. Okay? How many of you have ever competed with a Mexican for a job? I know I haven't. I know I haven't. They're usually doing jobs that require some sort of labor. Most of us aren't doing those types of jobs. So, and even if that were the case, the bottom line is, and that's right, Reggie, they're trying to get rid of Black immigrants as well. But with that all being said, they're also coming after Black people. ICE is. Okay? Have we not seen videos of them attacking Black people? Do you all want to live in a police state? Do you want to live under constant surveillance? All of the things that Palantir is all about. And who is Palantir with? The Republicans. Okay? That's their agenda. I don't want them surveilling me. I don't want kill switches in my car. I don't want them knowing every move I make and being able to track me and being all up in my business. I absolutely don't. And so with that all being said, let's continue. I mean, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But at the end of the day, some things I'm just not down for. Like it's about a matter of importance. What is more important? Is it more important for you to be fixated on the fact that Democrats are easy on the immigrants, or you feel like they're giving immigrants things that you're not getting? You don't think the Republicans are giving people things that we're not getting? Hell, the Republicans could have given us reparations just as easily as the Democrats could have. They didn't, but they damn sure want to give it to those people that invaded the Capitol on January the 6th. They want money set aside out of our tax dollars, out of our money. At least if the Democrats give them any sort of benefits, it's not coming from us. The Republicans literally said that they want the money to come from the taxpayers. Okay, that's what Trump said. Okay, that's what Trump said. Now, Mr. Midnight says the government itself is a demonic entity using mind controlling us. I believe it's using it, and it's working on some people. It absolutely is, because they're worried about the wrong thing as per usual, and that's why they're going to stay where they are. Okay, but these sort of people with this sort of mind frame is going to bring the rest of us down, because at the end of the day, the Republicans being in power will absolutely be, detrimental to all of us. Since Dems have been promising us so much for so long, what are we telling them if we keep voting for nothing? Well, here's the thing. You're not voting for nothing. I could tell you a whole host of things that the Democrats do for us. You see, the thing is, they haven't given us the anti-hate crime or anti-Black hate crime bill. We have the anti-lynching bill, but not the anti-Black hate crime bill. We don't have reparations, beloved. The Republicans aren't going to give you reparations either. So it is what it is. This is the same country that denied, they refused to admit just weeks ago at the UN during the vote, they refused to admit that chattel slavery was one of the worst and most inhumane acts that has been perpetuated upon mankind. Okay, they refused to admit that. They were one of 3 countries that refused to admit that. The other one was It's Not Real in Argentina. Okay, so the United States has not admitted that. So you know what that means? That means there are no reparations, because they're not even willing to acknowledge the heinousness of the actions that happened to us. So if we're not going to get reparations for the Dems and we're not going to get it from the Republicans, you should ask yourself, what else are we going to get from either of them? I absolutely agree with you. The Democrats, I'm not crazy about the Democrats, and I don't like many of the things they have done. But what I even don't like more so is the fact that they're trying to take us back to Jim Crow. That's much more important to me. And if you didn't see the broadcast that I did this morning, where I showed the proof that there's white people right now planning for a race war. Okay, do you want to get killed in a race war? Because I promise you we would not win. Because even if we were winning in the beginning, they always would just come and drop bombs on us like they did in Tulsa, Oklahoma, in my opinion. Okay, so with that all being said, it doesn't matter what you're talking about, beloved, quite frankly, because the bottom line is the Republicans aren't going to give us anything. They don't even want to give us Medicare and Medicaid for the elders and for the disabled. They're gutting all of that. Do you not know this? They've taken away, they want to take away the Obamacare and all that, or make it so expensive that people can't even afford it. Do you have any elders in your family? Do you have anyone in your family with pre-existing conditions? Do you have anyone in your family who has a diagnosis to where they need certain medications all of the time? The Democrats are for that. The Republicans are not. Okay, so it's time to really think about what is at stake here and what is the most important. Okay, but I'm not going to keep preaching to the choir, because at the end of the day, you all are going to make up your own choices anyway. You're going to make up your own minds, as you should, but you should also make sure you do some research and some deep soul searching and think about what you need, because you yourself could get sick one day. I could get sick. Any of us could. And then you don't have adequate health care. Okay, you can't get the treatment that you need. At the end of the day, are you going to be laying in a hospital bed while you're sick and dying? I mean, any of us, will we be lying there thinking about, oh, the Democrats, they deal with the immigrants, they like the immigrants? No, you'd be wishing that you had health care. And that's what we all need. Okay, that's what we all need. Now, anyway, let's continue.
Unpopular opinion. Y'all can't be mad at Jaxson Dart for standing next to and introducing a criminal pedo racist. You can't be upset that he was absolutely comfortable and had no issues introducing and standing next to a criminal pedo racist, a dude that's destroying the country and the lives of Black people in real time. You should be mad that we haven't made him and people like him uncomfortable supporting racists.
That's right. And I'm just going to say, for any Black people that don't vote, you just sit on the couch, or you vote Republican, you're supporting racists. And you can say the Dems are racist. At the end of the day, listen, I think there's probably an element of racism in most of people who don't look like us. Most, not all, but most. But the bottom line is, what are you going to be getting? Do I need to? I mean, at the end of the day, you can look it up yourself. I don't have to pull it up, but there's many things that we do get from the Democrats, and we don't get half of those things from the Republicans, and that's just what it is.
The fact that, first of all, they've already taken our voices. Our money is the last thing we got left. And we keep giving it to these entities. Let me get first for a second. The fact that a dude with a 34% approval rating is holding rallies is insane. That's like Arby's having stale roast beef sandwich day. But the reason why Jaxson Dart has no problem standing next to and endorsing a racist, even though he is in a league that has mostly black people in it, is because we haven't made him and other racists feel uncomfortable because we keep giving them our money. Watch this. Alexa, how much money do black athletes generate for the NFL?
Black athletes are crucial to the NFL's success, making up over 70% of players and significantly contributing to the league's $23 billion annual revenue through their performance, marketability, and fan engagement.
Alexa, how much money do black consumers generate for the NFL?
Black consumers significantly impact NFL revenue through their substantial spending power. With $1.4 trillion in collective purchasing power, they influence merchandise, ticket sales, and sponsorships, contributing to the league's $23 billion annual revenue.
That's how much money we make for the league. The reason why Colin Kaepernick got treated the way he did is that we as a collective did not stand by him while he was standing up for us. A lot of these racists only respect green. For some reason, we keep giving these people our money. When they keep showing us they don't care about our rights, they don't care about our voices, they don't care about our lives. But for some reason, we keep doing this.
Exactly. No lies detected.
The only way we get them to respect us is to take the thing they value the most. And now they say, well, the players got to keep playing. They got contracts. First of all, Muhammad Ali is an example that you can stand up against this. But we ain't got about the NFL packages, the merchandise, the tickets, none of that. The reason why Jaxson Dart has no problem standing next to a racist is because he has no reason to not stand next to a racist.
And that's facts.
We need to give them one.
That is a fact. And here's the thing. That some of you aren't thinking about. We already have shown the Democrats. We have already shown the Democrats that we don't appreciate them not giving us our reparations or whatever. Okay, we've already shown them that. That's why the Republicans are in power right now. The Democrats have likely learned their lesson for all we know. That's why the Republicans are in power right now. Now, the bottom line is if you want them to stay in power, either don't vote or vote for Republicans, because either one of those will absolutely keep them in power. Okay, and I'm going to tell you all, for those of you who absolutely are going to vote, and I told you to make sure, if you can, that you're not voting for anyone that's receiving AIPAC money. But here's the thing. For those of you who are going to vote, we need to separate ourselves from the people who are just okay with PDF files, and for the people who are just okay with racist people in power trying to take us back to Jim Crow. I'm sorry, we need to, because they don't give a damn about Black people either. They're only thinking about themselves as an individual, not Black people collectively. I care about the collective of Black people, not just myself. So there are some Black people who just don't care about the rest of us. And so those are the ones who say they're going to sit on the couch. Those are the ones who say they keep talking about what the Democrats didn't do, the Democrats and the immigrants. They don't have the wherewithal to look and see the bigger picture. And I guarantee you they didn't read or do any research on Project 2025 or Project 2030. I already said that, Miss B. Greer. I already said that, and that is beside the point, because I literally just said that. I said I believe most of the people that don't look like us are racist or have some elements of racism within them. That's a given. We're going to deal with racism all of our lives. The bottom line is you should be focusing on what are you going to get out of it. What are you going to get out of it is the thing. Nia says Black people need to start voting locally. Black people think every 4 years is all that matters. Our local officials have done nothing for us. Well, here's the thing, beloved. We already have talked about that on this channel. Maybe you're new to the channel, but we've absolutely already talked about that. Okay. And we do vote in local elections. Now, there are some Black people who don't, and maybe they don't think it's important, like you said. But the collective of us, we absolutely know that it is important. And listen, when I'm talking, that's what I'm specifically talking about. That's what I'm specifically talking about, is the local elections. Okay? It matters who we put in Congress. That all matters. It matters who is in the Senate. Okay? Because these are the people that are going to be writing legislation. So yes, that all matters. It is obtuse to not vote locally. And that's my point. That's specifically what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the presidential election per se, because I've already told you all 1,000 times my thoughts on that. But that's exactly what I'm talking about. So like I said, for those of you who are going to vote, we need to start separating ourselves from Black people who don't care about the collective of Black people, who only care about themselves and are just still clinging to the past. We need to be talking about the here and now. If you look up those, you all have seen the homeless camps. Have you not? Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you've seen the homeless camps that they're building to put homeless people in, and it's going to be like prison. They can't leave when they want to. They can't come and go as they please. I've reported on that. So put a 1 in the chat if you all remember that report. Okay, put another 1 in the chat if you remember me telling you how they have the children who are in foster care, who cannot get homes, who haven't been, adopted. They don't have anywhere to go. They put them in jail, in juvenile detention centers. Now, if you're fine with that, then keep sitting on the couch and keep worrying about the Democrats and the immigrants, because I'm not fine with any of that. I'm not fine with them cutting government programs that people absolutely need, like SNAP, Medicaid, Medicare. I'm not fine with that. The Democrats have never done that. They have never done that. Whether you think they're racist or not, that's something they have never done. They have never tried to take our voting rights. They have never gutted the Voting Rights Act. They have never taken down Black soldiers, tried to erase Black soldiers of World War II who fought and died for this country. They've never tried to erase their memory. They've never done that. All of those things are much more important than this BS about the Dems and immigrants. If the Dems like immigrants, how is that negatively impacting your life? Ask yourself, how is that negatively impacting your life? Because it isn't negatively impacting mine at all. But if they take away certain things, food from needy children, because SNAP isn't just for adults, it's mostly for adults that have little children that they need to feed and take care of. So that's hurting them. That's hurting them. Nene says, I have to push back, Queen. Demanding tangibles and policies in exchange for our votes is caring for the collective. Yes, absolutely. I never said that it wasn't. When did I ever say that? You don't have to push back, because I never said that. I never said that. We should absolutely be demanding tangibles. Haven't we always? When did we stop? The only thing I said is we should not be so fixated on the reparations and the anti-hate crime bill, because we're likely not going to get it, period, from the Dems or the Republicans. And that's just what it is. Okay? Which should let us all know that, yes, some of them are absolutely racist. That's the point. But like I said, think about what you are going to get. Who are you going to get more from? Are you going to get more from the Dems or more from the Republicans? Are we going to stay in the same situation that we're already in right now? I guarantee you we will stay in it if the Republicans stay in charge. Okay? Look at all of that. Are you fine with illegal wars, with people getting killed? Are you fine with those things? Are you fine with gas prices soaring, grocery prices soaring, while the Republicans are in charge and allowing Trump to do all of these things? That's what you should ask yourself. Now, I'm tired of talking about it because, like I said, some of y'all are listening, some of you won't, and I don't really care. But some of you can't see the bigger picture. You can't see the forest for the trees, and that's okay. I'm not here to beat a dead horse, okay? Because quite frankly, I'm tired of talking about it. At the end of the day, however it turns out, don't come crying, okay, if it turns out that the Republicans stay in charge, and then we end up in concentration camps. Y'all end up in them because I'll be damned if I'll be in one. Okay, they'll have to kill me first. Okay, and some of y'all aren't ready to die, so there's that. Now let's continue. Andy Barr proves that MAGA politics, white grievance. Now listen to this.
This is an actual ad for a white supremacist running to replace Mitch McConnell in the Senate.
And I'm playing this just for those of you who are still caught up on the Dems and the immigrants.
You know, this isn't the first time and the last time that we're going to hear this white victim mentality of don't be ashamed to be white. Tammy Faye Baker, i.e. Erica Kirk, said the same thing. Don't be afraid to be a strong white man. Who's afraid of being white? Who's not proud of being white? I'm ashamed of white history. And that's what you people like this white supremacist running for Senate call woke. See, white history, when you actually look at American history, and you people run around with your flags and your bald eagles and your nationalism, and you say, we're the best of the best, and you say this was founded as a great Christian nation on great Christian principles. See, when you actually look at it, like me being a woke person, it was founded by white people, hanging black people from trees, legalized slavery. White people tore out the fetuses from black mothers. White people kidnapped black people. And when they died on the ship coming over here for up to 6 months through the travel, white people treated them with such disrespect that they threw their bodies in the ocean. So much, as a matter of fact, that bull sharks would actually follow the slave ships. That's actual American history. Founded where, hey, you're black, you're only worth 3/5 of a white man. You're black, you're not a citizen because you're not white. But what is driving this victim mentality? It's called racial resentment. It's my beliefs that Trump's voters are the unique and foremost victims of the machinations of America's political and economic systems. For example, in the aftermath of Trump's 2016 election, scholars at the University of Chicago used survey data to argue that white vulnerability, the fear of loss of status relative to other racial groups through no fault of their own, motivated the white millennials in Trump's base to cast their ballot for him. Among other things, people who scored higher on the pollsters' measures of white vulnerability were more likely to believe that racism against white people is as big of a problem as it is for black people. Just think about that. Trump's base is so stupid, so saturated with white victimhood, they literally think that America is being racist against white people just as much, if not more, that America has been racist against black people. And that's what this video is. They are petrified of a white minority. They see it on the horizon like a sunrise. They see the mountains about 100 miles away, and they know that it's coming, and it scares the hell out of them. Look at what they're doing, right? Dr. Oz is talking about the birth rates. It should be 2.1 children. It's at 1.5. Make more white babies. Come on. We got to. This is an actual ad.
Now, I like the information he was given. And here's the thing. Everything that he was saying basically has everything to do with why some of them want to invoke a race war, because they feel like they are being threatened, like they're not going to be on top if there becomes more of a minority, if the minority becomes the majority. This is all sowing seeds of discord. And where do you think they're getting this idea from? From Trump, from the Republicans, the GOP, the grand old party. Okay? Nia said they just say anything to stir up trouble against black people. And that's my point. Where do you all think this is all coming from? Like I said, from Trump and the GOP. Now we got to sit here and worry about race fights race wars. We have to worry about Black people being harassed and taken out. Look at Chud the Builder. He shot that Black man. He could have killed him. Where do you think that hate, how do you think his hatred got so emboldened? From Trump. From Trump. That's where all of this stuff on the horizon. Why do you think that there is white supremacists in the United States, like the video I showed you all this morning, going over to Canada and the UK, and then people from the UK and Canada coming over here, and they're all training? You all would not probably have known that had I not shown you that this morning. And there's a whole lot more than I know, but I told you all I can show some of it on ScrewTube. But at the end of the day, these people are dead serious. Okay, and some of us are on the playground like everything's all gravy and like this is a game. But it's time to be taking things seriously and worrying about the right thing, not the wrong thing. That's right. Greta said race war is their goal. It is. I mean, if you listen, they're not even just trying to do it by themselves. They're coordinating this thing. They're recruiting people from other countries globally. This is all very serious. And like I said, this is due to the hatred that is being put on the forefront, okay, to the talking points and the racist rhetoric that is being spewed. The talk about white nationalists and all of that. Trump literally said, didn't Trump come out and say that he wants to get rid of freedom of speech? Okay, please pay attention. So with that all being said, now let's talk about Boomer Esiason, and then we're out of here, because I really didn't like what he had to say about Abdul Carter. Okay, and yeah, he has a lot of nerve. Boomer Esiason slams Abdul Carter over Jaxson Dart Donald Trump reaction. Okay, so the New York Giants are seemingly full of drama. So maybe it shouldn't have been a surprise that the quiet of the offseason was interrupted by an appearance from quarterback Jaxson Dart introducing Trump at a rally and getting called out by Abdul Carter. Now, the two Giants rookies were drafted last year in the first round as foundational pieces of Big Blue on both sides of the ball. But at least politically, it doesn't seem like the two see eye to eye. So Dart made the decision to introduce and endorse Trump as he was giving a speech in New York last Friday. That led to him being called out by Carter in a post on X, with him saying, "Thought this ish was AI. What we doing, man?" So Carter issued another post that said he and Dart were good friends and they had a conversation as men. But as you might expect, the media firestorm had around the appearance, the post, and the allure of Donald Trump dividing the Giants locker room is simply too irresistible to ignore. So on Tuesday morning, WFAN host Boomer Esiason addressed the situation. And given Esiason has been vocal about his support for Trump, and even more vocal about athletes who choose to speak up in opposition to him, it wasn't exactly a shock to see where he landed and whose side he took. Okay, so I'm just going to let you all hear what he says. I'm going to put an overlay on the screen. Okay, I'm going to put an overlay on the screen. Hold on. I didn't realize the video was on here. I was just going to read it, but now there's an actual video. Okay, great. So I'll just get this overlay real quick. Okay, here we go. And then I'll just play the video. Like stuff, everyone, please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, here we go.
This was a real error on the part of Abdul Carter, not on the part of Jaxson Dart. Jaxson Dart was asked to do something to introduce the president of the United States. How many people get an opportunity to do something like that, regardless of who the president is? You may have hated Barack Obama. You may have hated Joe Biden, and some guys didn't want to go to the White House because they didn't like those presidents, just like other guys didn't want to go to the White House because they didn't like President Trump, but to put this out like a child on social media is ridiculous. And then when I heard, we spoke man to man. Yeah, there was only one man on that call, and that was Jaxson Dart. You were a man who was late to meetings. You were a man who didn't live up to your draft choice. You're a man who wanted to wear number 56. And by the way, your idol, number 56, has introduced Donald Trump numerous times. So I don't want to hear this. So he made another just boneheaded error by going to.
Okay, so I didn't like that. I did not like that at all. Okay, the nerve of him, that really ticked me off that he said all of that about that young man because he didn't like what he said. He said he was acting like a child by posting on social media. First of all, whether he said he's allowed to post on social media, that's for number one. And he didn't say anything disparaging. He just said, what are we doing? Second of all, he could say whatever the hell he wants to. That's for number one. And third, even if he had not posted it, people were still talking trash. It's not like he drew attention to it. People were still going in on Jaxson Dart because they saw the video. Because the video's all over social media. It went viral. So there's also that. But for him to sit there and start disparaging this young man and saying, oh, you're the one who was late to meetings. You're the one who didn't live up to your draft choice. And making a boneheaded decision. And then he said, you said we talked man to man. There was only one man in that conversation. It was Jaxson Dart. You see, this is the kind of BS I'm talking about. Y'all want more of this? Okay, and this is what I'm saying, because these people are so blatant and emboldened because of Trump and his racist rhetoric, okay, and the rest of his minions. Like, that really ticks me off. I mean, the nerve of him, okay? The absolute nerve. So anyway, with that all being said, listen, I'm going to wrap up this. I'm going to wrap this up, but everybody, do whatever you want. Like I said, I'm tired of talking about it. Y'all not going to be sitting up here raising my blood pressure, honey. That's what y'all are not going to do. Because I'm going to tell you like this. Come hell or high water, however this ish turns out, I'm going to still try to help as many Black people as I can and do what I need to do. Okay, I've told you all about your lifelines and things we need to prepare for. And so far, anything that I've ever told you all has absolutely come to fruition. Has it not? Okay, has it not? So with that all being said, we need to get it together. We need to prioritize. I don't like the fact that, the immigrants get all of these benefits and tangibles that we don't get. I don't like it at all. But like I have told you all before, this government historically has always given things to other people rather than African Americans. And that is because, as I told you all, if they get tired of these people, feel like they're doing too much or getting out of pocket, they can just basically deport them. They can't send us anywhere. Okay, at least they're not supposed to be able to. Trump's trying to change that. Okay? Trump's trying to change that. All right? So please pay attention. With that all being said, listen, I love you all to life. I hope you all enjoyed the show. Okay, please like and share before you head out. And I'll see you all in the morning with your morning wake-up call. Until then, beloveds, each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember to keep the Most High first in your lives. And until next time, I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
Floyd all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why